And one day I finally saw one. And it was crawling across my leg. And I killed it. And I said, "Hey, Jason, I don't know if you know this, but I think you have bed bugs. And I think that's what's been biting me." And he said, "Oh, I know. We've had them for a couple years." And I said, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, "Why didn't you tell me? I've been getting bit, and you've just been letting me speculate that it was mosquitoes this whole time." And he said, "I didn't want you to get mad or leave." And I was like, just tell me, And so I spent my money on a new vacuum cleaner. My whole, $200, $300 a week on a new vacuum cleaner for them. Some bug spray, some of that bed bug powder, a steamer to steam their carpets, and I cleaned his room for him all the time. And his room wasn't just like a little messy. He would spill drinks and not clean them up, so his carpet was sticky. He would throw his cigarette butts in the floor, ashes cigarettes in the floor. He would eat and leave plates of food in the floor. His whole closet was a mess. We never really got that one cleaned out. He had trash everywhere. Beer cans, Coke cans, trash, alcohol bottles, drinks, and drinks that have been knocked over. And to beat it all, we slept on an air mattress. Twin size air mattress. And then when we could afford it, we would get a full size. And of course, where he would never clean his floor, something would pop the bed, and we would have to sleep on a flat air bed in the floor, surrounded by trash and rotten food and cigarette butts. So I would clean his room for him because nobody in this world can stand to live in that filth but him. Nobody. So I would clean his room top to bottom. I'd wipe the walls down. I would scrub the carpet, vacuum, throw away all the trash, carry it down to the dumpster, and it'd be like 10, 12 bags, like those giant trash bags full. I would do it all on my own on my days off. And I would say, "Hey, please try to keep it clean in here, please." No. And then I'd say, "Okay, we're going to clean your room today." He would get drunk. I wouldn't do a damn thing. I had to do it all. Of course, that's trivial, whatever. But his mother was toxic. But I think that's just how she survived there, honestly. I got to meet his father a couple times. Seemed like he was really trying to rekindle their relationship. He wasn't drinking as much. Funny thing, I think I said it. I don't know. If I didn't say it, then I thought it. Abuse follows families. If your father was an abusive alcoholic, I'm going to say 8 times out of 10, you're going to be an abusive alcoholic. I don't know why those things work. You would think that people would learn and be like, hey, no, I don't want to be that way. But maybe it makes them comfortable. Because familiarity makes people comfortable. And my statistic is probably way off, but that's what I've experienced. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody by it, but there's a lot of things that I probably didn't bring up in this video, and I don't remember. And I hate not remembering because it's scary, you know. I don't know what happened in those lost memories. But the day that I left Jason and his family, we were in his room. He had been drinking, of course. And we got into a fight, of course, another screaming match. And I said something to him that I guess pissed him off. But you know, if you're in those kinds of relationships, you know, you just try to hurt somebody else. So he told me to leave. He's like, leave, get out right now. And I said, okay. And I grabbed my purse and my keys and started walking out the door, but he stood in front of his bedroom door and blocked the way. I'm really glad nobody was home for all that. Dave was at his buddies. Tammy was at work, I believe, and Samara was at school. So, maybe it would have been better if somebody was there, but I don't know. Blocked the doorway. And I tried so hard to push past him. Of course, you know, he was stronger than me. I couldn't. I would manage to, but he would grab me and push me or throw me down, push me back to where I would fall. And that just pissed me off more. So I would go at it again. And I remember I pushed past him and I ran as fast as I could down the hallway into the living room. But he got there before me, pushed me out of the way, and blocked the door. And his mother slept on an air mattress in the living room. So I landed on her air mattress. And I dropped my purse because it was just getting in my way. I dropped my purse. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to squeeze past him a second time. So I ran back down the hallway into the bathroom. And I closed the door. Just to be alone. I closed the door to get away from him. He squeezed the door open. And then he closed the door behind him and stood in front of it and wouldn't let me out. And I tried so hard to get out. I tried so hard to get out. By that point, I was having a complete meltdown. I couldn't get away from him. I couldn't make him stop. I couldn't make him leave me alone. He was talking to me in this calm tone. He said, just calm down. Just calm down. Just calm down and I'll let you out. Just calm down. And I was freaking out. And I was banging on the door. And I was banging on his shoulder, just let me out, let me out. And he held his arm up. I was hitting his arm. And I broke my hand. Right here. I broke this bone. Of course, at the time I didn't know because I was so full of adrenaline and panic and just having a complete meltdown. And I knew I wasn't going to get out. So I sat down and I cried. I just cried. I just begged him. I just said, just let me out. Please just let me go. Please just let me go. I want out of here. Please just let me go. I just sunk to the floor and was crying with my head on my knees, just and I don't know when, but he finally stepped away from the door and come over to me. And I was kind of calming down. I was just going numb. I knew that I had to before he would let me out, let me go. I knew I had to calm down. So I was calming myself down, and he was talking to me in this calm, sweet voice. And it bothers me. And it bothered me then. I just wanted to tell him to just shut the fuck up. But he was talking to me in this calm, sweet voice. Just say, just calm down. It's okay. Just calm down. And, I did. Forced myself to. I sat there. And that's when the pain of my hand hit me. I started crying again because it hurt. And I said, my hand hurts. And I looked at it and it was swollen and was turning black. And, I just said, my hand hurts, and was crying about that. And he said, see? That's what you get. You did that to yourself. Are you proud of yourself? See? All that for nothing. See? And was laughing about it. I forced myself to laugh too. I was like, haha, yeah, you're right. Silly me. We calmed down. I calmed down. And then he went and got the weed. And we smoked. I smoked to feel better, and he wanted me to smoke so that I wouldn't try to run again. So everything was fine that day. And I think I went to work the next day or the day after. And I went home. I went to my house, my mom's house, after work that day. And I was freaking out because I knew when I was sitting there on the bathroom floor, I knew I had to get away. had to get out. But I knew he wasn't going to let me leave alone. So I was scared. Very scared. Because I didn't know if he was going to let me out the next time. Or if he was going to hurt me. So I sat down on the couch and I just started crying. And I said, Mom, I need to get out. I need to get out of there. And this was a day or two before my birthday. I said, I just need to get out. I need to get out. And she said, okay, I've been waiting for you to be ready. Because you have to be ready to leave. So, me and Mom and my dad's caretaker, she was visiting. She was there, and my grandma. And we made a plan. We were going to go call the police, go to the police station, have them help me, escort me, so I could get my stuff and get out. I had a lot of stuff over there. Jason would come over to my house and see something that he liked and take it back to his house, with or without my permission. So between, my stuff that I knew I needed, which was like clothes and blankets and pillows and stuff, and everything that he wanted, not most, but a lot of my stuff was over there. And I had a lot of things that were very important to me, like things that Dad had given me that I wanted to get back, plus my clothes and stuff. So we went to the police station, and that's when I started kind of telling Mom what had been going on about the sexual abuse, the emotional abuse, and now the physical abuse. And I want to say this. It always progresses. He would get over one form of abuse, finally, but move on to the next. And it was always emotional abuse. But he got over the sexual abuse and the pretty much rape and moved on to physical abuse. The sexual abuse was when we first, dated after high school. And then after we broke up for those few months and then back together, then it was the physical. But the police station couldn't help me. They told me to go out there, and call the other police station in his city and ask them to send out a couple of officers to help escort me to get my stuff. So we did. Those officers were very short with me. Of course, I was crying. I was terrified, honestly. I was honestly terrified to go back there and get my stuff and tell them that I was done. Scared. So, they, helped me go to, they escort me to his house. It's nighttime. It's dark. It's before he goes to work, which I had forgot about him going to work. I figured that if I had showed up alone, he would have called out of work and wouldn't have let me leave. So I brought the cops. He's afraid of going back to jail, as he should be. So he was very compliant. They asked to step inside. Of course, his mother, Tammy, was furious because she probably honestly knows that they would take her daughter away from her if they knew the circumstance. Probably. Which she would probably be better off if she wasn't there being abused by her brother and mother and father. But, there's nothing I can do about that. And I'm not going to step into that. Although I wish, I just gotta wash my hands of this situation. But if any of you want to do it, by all means, just ask. I got you. I'll give you names, situations, phone numbers, addresses. I got you. But anyway, that's doxing. I probably shouldn't say that. It's the well-being of a child. Who gives a fuck? Alright, anyway. So we get there, and I'm terrified. They knock on the door. They ask to come inside so that there would be no altercations on the inside where they couldn't see, I guess. Tammy was furious because they had woken her up, I guess. Jason wanted to know what was going on. He kept trying to talk to me, kept trying to touch me, and the cop told him to back off. And he needed to keep his distance and go sit down. Which, thank God. Thank you for that. Thank you. But I went and got all my stuff. Most of it. The important things. I had to keep telling myself, just get what's important and leave the rest, which was hard, I guess, because all of it was important to me. But I got my blankets and some of my movies. I got some of the stuff that Dad had given me that Jason liked. Like there was a lamp, and just stuff like that. Shoes, clothes, jackets, things of that nature. That was a lot that I actually did grab. And I was trying to hurry, get in, get out. Jason was making small talk with the officers. He was always smooth talker. Very manipulative. Very narcissistic. Very manipulative. Anyway, got all my stuff. And I left. And the police officers were rushing me, of course. So I didn't grab everything that I wanted to. And I didn't talk to him for a while. But like I said, the first time I broke up with him, my world crashed. If you're in that situation, you don't know how to get back to your life. Because it's always about somebody else's. And this is true with, like if your parents are narcissistic. It's true with that too. You don't know how to live your own life anymore. And after 4 years, that's exactly how I felt. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how to cope with things. I didn't know how to have a healthy argument. I didn't know what was okay and what wasn't anymore. Because I had allowed so much pain, so much anger and fear. I didn't know what a healthy relationship was. I didn't know. I didn't trust my friends because he would tell me lies about them. Didn't trust my own family. I didn't trust my sister. I didn't trust my mom. I couldn't trust anyone, and I was alone. And I was struggling with all of that I'd gotten from that relationship, all that trauma, pain. I hadn't even dealt with my father's death because I wasn't allowed to. So that was hitting me. My mother, in April of 2018, I believe, had tried to kill herself. She overdosed on her pain pills. That's another video. I'll get into that. I was dealing with everything all at once, and I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to. I ended up talking to him again. And then one day he messages me and he sends me a picture, and it's bruises around his neck. And I thought he had tried to commit suicide. He always played on my fears. Always. On my traumas. Anyways. Took him a while to get back to me. Message me back. He said that Dave, his mother's boyfriend, had choked him, had strangled him, because they were both drinking, and Jason, being Jason, said something, and Dave had got angry and put him in a chokehold. Well, I guess held him up on a wall and was choking him up against a wall. The whole wall was caved in. I went and looked, but I went over there to make sure he was okay. The cops were there. And it was one of the cops that had helped me get out. He noticed me sitting in the car watching Dave get arrested. He come over and he talked to me and he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No, I'm not. But, you know." He said, "Well, I remember you from the other night. You know, that night." Of course, I didn't recognize the cop, but he said, "I remember you. And you were trying to get away from here." And I said, "Yes." He said, "I just want you to be careful, and be safe." And, I thanked him. And he went on and, they went on to jail or whatever. Then I took Jason to the Dollar General down the road and got him some bandages and some peroxide and doctored up his wound around his neck. And he was crying and I was consoling him. So we went back to his house. Of course, his mother was crying and going crazy, and his little sister was upset. She was the one who called the cops. Good on her. She is such a strong little girl. I need to say that. She is a very strong little girl to deal with the things that she's dealt with her whole life. Very strong. And I wish her all the best in this world. I do. I hope she can finally find her peace and gets away from them. Honestly, I do. But anyway, got back, and his mom wanted to leave. So I helped her pack up all her stuff. Of course, I hadn't answered my mom in a while, so she came looking for me. She knew where to find me. I was carrying stuff out and loading it onto a U-Haul that her brother, his mom's brother, had drove over. And so I went down and was talking to her, and she said, "Why are you here?" And I said, "Because he needed me." And she was very upset with me because she thought I had finally gotten away, but, and she said, "I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you, not to ever come here again." I said, "I know." And she said, "Just be careful." And I told her I would, and that I loved her. So we got all of his stuff, their stuff, plus mine, a lot of mine, that I hadn't grabbed that night, and moved it all over to his uncle's house. And we, sorry, the maintenance guy's outside. We, had it all moved in, and I was talking to him, and I told him, that I was there if he needed me. And he kept saying, that he loved me and that he wished I'd never left and blah, 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 blah. And I couldn't say it back. But yeah.